والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Continuing the ahadith or sharh of the ahadith in Kitab al-Jami' min Bab al-Adab, we have already mentioned the hadith number 6, which is also the hadith 1346 from the book of Bulugh-Al-Maram. إذا أكل أحدكم طعاما فلا يمسح يده حتى يلعقها أو يلعقها. And this is the hadith, the etiquette of the Prophet ﷺ in teaching the way how of the etiquette of eating. And we have mentioned already, this etiquette, which is, can also be comprehensible in way of the tradition, in way of the, let's say, the habit, the customs, all of that will be involved in this hadith. So the surah or the way how the Prophet ﷺ defined the way of the eating or the etiquette of the eating will not be the way and obligation on every Muslim who live in any society to do the same, however, we said the heart of the hadith, because he said, truly the Prophet ﷺ, he said, one of you eats, he must not wipe his hand till he licks it or gives it to someone else to lick, his child or things like that. So we're talking about these aspects. So the hadith here, when you look at it, it's like an obligation to lick the fingers. However, as we have said, it is the moral of the hadith, the teaching of the hadith, the instruction of the hadith, because the people, for example, who use utensil or use silver, the spoons and things, the silverware, they will not be, applying this hadith. So it's not when you, for example, use the spoon and the fork, then you are missing the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. We cannot say, for example, you should eat this way so you can benefit of the sunnah of the Prophet. So the Prophet ﷺ teaching us the blessing and the etiquette in the circumstances and condition and the saraf where they use their finger to eat. However, one of the most important things, it is the licking behind it, as we have mentioned, the blessing, avoiding the waste and considering something very important, the appreciation of the gift of Allah and the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we have mentioned. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you food, that food, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us and reminded in the Quran, to look at your food. فَلْيَنْظُرْ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَىٰ طَعَامٍ. When you look at your food, how it came to be in front of you, then you realize, the rain, and then the split of the earth, and the growth of the fruits and the produces. قَالَ أَنَّا صَبَبْنَا الْمَاءَ صَبًّا ثُمَّ شَقَقْنَا الْأَرْضَ شَقًّا. All of that, subhanallah, is a process that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made to be for this human being to have the gift of the food from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the process or the etiquette of the Prophet ﷺ in a sort comes also to be appreciative to the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by being appreciative to the gift of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you more blessing. And put more blessing in the food that you eat. And this is what the author rahimahullah ta'ala قال إذا وقعت لقمة أحدكم فليمط ما بها من الأذى وليأكلها ولا يدعها للشيطان. Even when it falls, the morsel on the ground, you take it to remove any impurity on it and you eat it, as long as this impurity will not hurt you, or this impurity that will not be able to be removed. When it comes in the Bab al-Tahara or Bab al-Akli, al-Ma'kulat, the thing when you have an impurity fall into something like liquid or non-liquid or semi-liquid. All of it, alhamdulillah, we have in the book of the fiqh. How can you save part of your food, of your thing that you store? It might be, oil or things. All of that, subhanallah, from the spirit of the Sharia, to avoid the waste and to be appreciative to the gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Knowing if you leave it, the shaitan will use it, as the Prophet ﷺ telling us. So see, this is part of the unseen, that we take it as is, because who's telling us this is the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. قال وإلى هذا ذهب أبو محمد بن حزم قال إن والبركة هي النماء. You see, So when someone will do that, he will have barakah. He will have barakah. What is the barakah? Comes from an-nama. An-nama is the increase. So if you want to be increased in blessing, increase in provision, increase in everything that is good, you follow the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and the etiquette of the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ into the food is to not waste it. And even if you have it in your finger, you lick your finger, and you also finish the whole, wipe the whole content. People, subhanAllah, now it becomes sometimes a trend. You have to leave something in the plate for people to not see like, he's always starving. So leave something in the plate to show that they're like out of, of being snob. You don't eat everything. Well, this is gonna waste. This is haram. You have to save it. But this is one we get from this hadith, not specifically the action, but if you're going to eat with your finger, we said you use the three fingers, inshallah ta'ala, that we know. The next hadith عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ليسلم الصغير على الكبير والمار على القائد والقليل على الكثير. Now comes to the other etiquette, which is the etiquette of greeting others. Greeting others. The greeting, it is one, as we have mentioned in the first hadith of the etiquette of the adab. Greeting is one of the rights of a Muslim and a Muslim. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال وَإِذَا حُيِّيتُم بِتَحِيَّةٍ فَحَيُّوا بِأَحْسَنَ مِنْهَا أَوْ رُدُّوهَا. And if we are greeted with the tahiyyah of Islam, with the greeting of Islam, قال, then greet back with the better tahiyyah, with the better greeting. قال فَحَيُّوا بِأَحْسَنَ مِنْهَا. أو, if you will not be able to do it, or you didn't do better greeting, so the minimum is to greet back the way you have been greeted. According to this ayah, answering the greeting with the better greeting is recommended. And answering the greeting as you have been greeted is a fard, is an obligation. That's why the person who starts the greeting, he's the one who has the more ajr, more reward. To answer that greeting is a fard. And to have, a greater reward is to answer the greeting better than what we have been greeted for. So someone says, Assalamu alaikum. You say, Wa alaikum assalam. That's the minimum fard. The ahsana minha, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Someone say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Say, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Someone say wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh wa maghfiratuh. However, ahsana min ijtihad. However, some of the scholars in the etiquette, some of the scholars said you can limit it to wa barakatuh. Because if not, someone will be making up new thing to continue try to do the best, And if someone, mashallah, has very eloquent in language, and he will give you like a sentence of 50 words, you have to come up with the 51st word. Like a long time ago, we say a long time ago because now with the internet and everything, they come up with the voicemail. Not long ago, voicemail, And they said to one of the shuyukh, he said, you better have a voicemail. So, for people to leave if they have a question and everything. He said, okay. So voicemail, he wanted to make like with a lot of taqwa. So when you hear the voicemail, you feel like, So the voicemail is as follows. He said, to leave your voicemail. He said, so he speaks. He said, you have reached Sheikh so-and-so, son of so-and-so, son of so-and-so, the whole tree of the family. And then after you finish the name, you feel, okay, now I'm going to speak. He said, and leave your message after listening to Surah Al-Baqarah. So, we know that the voicemail will not stand for the Surah Al-Baqarah, but that's, and it was joke, by the shuyukh among themselves, to say, like, you want it to be quiet. Leave your, be focused if you want to live after Surah Al-Baqarah. But the same here, if you want to continue making the salam, so some of the scholars, they said, وَبَرَكَاتُهُ, it will be, قَدْ أَجْزَلْتَ. You have done, the best of the greeting back. Now this hadith, it has different specification, which is, how the mechanism or to do it, who should start first, So in this hadith, then it's beautiful. قال, the young should salute the older one. So any young person should salute the one who older than him. So if they're sibling, the younger sibling will salute the first greet the older one. It's not like the young should greet the old people. No. Anyone who's, subhanAllah, younger than another person, they should start, the one who's passing by should greet the one who is sitting. And the small group of people should greet the large one. So this is the mechanism. And there is, of course, hikmah in it. So here, if we read some of the comment, قال الحديث فيه شرعية ابتداء السلام من الصغير إلى الكبير. So the hadith is instructing us that the salam or the greeting should start from the young to the old one. قال ابن بطال is one of the scholars of hadith who has a comment on sharh on Sahih al-Bukhari. وإنما شرع للصغير أن يبتدئ الكبير لأجل حق الكبير. Now look, subhanAllah, the illah, what is the reason? Because the older one has a right on the younger one, right of respect, right to be held with esteem. So that right, how we express it? By greeting first on the older one. See, حق الكبير. لأنه أمر بتوقيره والتواضع له. The younger one is always was asked to respect the older one and to be humble in their presence. So you see now here the salam, not only just greeting, but is expressing manners and defining our morality in our relationship, ولو تعارض الصغر المعنوي والحسي كأن يكون الأصغر أعلم مثلا قال المصنف لم أرى فيه نقلا والذي يظهر اعتبار السن لأن الظاهر تقديم الحقيقة على المجاز. What if the question is someone can be higher in status and younger and the other person older and lower in status? Here we're talking the knowledge. Someone who is more knowledgeable, He said, we don't have any naql here, any proof from the sunnah or from the previous, early generation. However, we always follow what has been mentioned already. So the older person, he needs to be respected and start. So an imam in lugha, imam in sharia, when he see an older person, not because he's more knowledgeable, he will wait for the older one to greet him. No, he will greet back first, because the right of the older has more, strength to be respected than the right of someone gain knowledge. Because the knowledge is the benefit of the person, but to be older, it is respect that the whole society need to abide to. وفيه شرعية ابتداء المار بالسلام للقاعد. قال المازري لأنه قد يتوقع القاعد منه الشر ولا سيما إذا كان راكبا فإذا ابتدأه بالسلام أمن منه. Now there is another perspective. He said, which is an interpretation according to this opinion of the scholar. So why the person who's passing by should greet the person sitting down? Or even someone riding will greet the person who's sitting down. Subhanallah, saying, because the one who walking, he's in a situation of, let's say, the first thing that they think about is their safety. So to guarantee your safety, someone who's sitting, he's already in a position, they can do whatever, we don't know what they think. They might attack you. They say, this person is a stranger, this person will. So when you greet first, it's like you send you open up those relations based on peace. I am a Muslim and I'm greeting you with the salam. فقال ولا سيما إذا كان راكبا فإذا ابتدأ أمن منه. So to feel safe and keep one safe, your salam is your guarantee to have the safe back or to be treated safely from the people who are sitting. Because the people who are sitting are people who's like, being empowered, let's say. The one who's passing by, he's the weak, right? Because he's passing by. The other people are sitting. وَأَنِسَ إِلَيْهِ. So he feel like, uns, which is mean like a closeness. You feel like, there is a closeness or like intimacy that you feel like, peace together. You peace like, kind of a friendship. أو لأن في التصرف في الحاجات امتهانا فصار للقاعد مزية فأمر المار بالابتداء. أو لأن القاعد يشق عليه مراعاة المارين مع كثرتهم. Another one, also the other thing, it might be the one sitting, if you're going to stand to greet, it might like has type of belittling the self or lowering the self, because the one who's passing or riding might be, a person in, let's say, he's not in higher status, but, to be greeting the other person will be like more respectful than the one who's sitting to greet someone walking or riding. It's awkward. It's like someone sitting, trying to greet someone passing. It's like seeking a favor or seeking, a closeness or nearness to this person. While this person passing by, it will be more humble to greet the people who are sitting or the person who's sitting. قال أو لأن القائد يشق عليه مراعاة المارين مع كثرتهم فتسقط البداءة عنه للمشقة عليه. Another aspect is it will be a hardship for the person sitting down to keep saying the salam to everybody, passing by. So it's going to be hardship. Then the Sharia didn't, in a way, burden the one sitting to start with the greeting, and had it to be on the person who's, passing by, or passing, or riding. Because the person passing, he might be like thinking, he might be like busy, he might be talking, he will not even, be aware of the person sitting, So if someone will be aware and turn, he says, Assalamu alaikum, then the one sitting, he will answer him by obligation. Okay. So all this interpretation to understand the hadith, and to understand the wisdom behind having the person passing by, as he's saying here, salute the person who is sitting. القليل بالسلام على الكثير. القليل بالسلام. The small group will greet the bigger group. And this is because of the merit of the jama'ah. The more the group is bigger, the more is recommended into Islam. So the jama'ah will bring the unity. أو لأن الجماعة لو ابتدأوا لخيف على الواحد الزهو فاحتيط له. Or if the group, they will start, then you will be concerned that among the people who are in small group, they feel like, kind of being excessive pride, which lead to arrogance. Because if it's a big group, they turn to small group, say, Assalamu alaikum. So one of them, he feel like special to be, greeted by all this group. So it introduced in them some of the, subhanAllah, that excessive pride and turn into show off and arrogance. So that's also one of the reasons. فلو مر جمع كثير على جمع قليل أو مر الكبير على الصغير قال المصنف لم أرى فيه نصا واعتبر النووي المرور فقال الوارد يبدأ. So now it comes to combination. What if the young one is sitting and the older one is passing by? So you have to combine. So Imam al-Nawawi said, I didn't see any text. However, when it comes like that, it becomes always the young one to greet the older one, because that's a right that is already settled, and based on respect and based on this building the structure of the society, the rest usually change. You know, in the condition, someone might be like standing, passing by, and someone be sitting, so that's a change. But the other one is always fixed. The older one is older one, and the younger one is always the younger one. But in general, al-waridu yabda, whoever who enter a place should start. You know, the newcomer he should start. You know, even an older person, he enter and people are sitting or things, he will start, because he's the one who opened the door and he enter. And the salam, he will be a notification, you know, I'm here, spreading peace around you, and I'm your brother. All of that is in the salam, you know. وذكر الماوردي أن من مشى في الشوارع المطروقة كالسوق أنه لا يسلم إلا على البعض لأنه لو سلم على كل من لقي لتشاغل به على المهم الذي خرج لأجله وخرج به عن العرف. Now also someone should not be extreme. So if someone, for example, going in the street, you know, or there's a mall, a market, you know, someone should not greet everyone he sees. Why? Because if you're going to do that, then it's going to distract them from the assignment or the task or the mission or the thing that they have to do. To greet some of them, sometimes in a position, you'll feel like, you know, saying, not feel because you prefer other, but in condition, someone, you know, waiting for someone to pass, or you come to a small place or something, say, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. But people are watching the window, or people are, you know, bargaining with the thing. You're not going to stop, assalamu alaikum, and then people stop them, you know, assalamu alaikum. You don't do that. So قال ليسلم إلا على البعض, to greet some of them, that is, you know, the etiquette here. وفيه شرعية ابتداء الراكب على الماشي وذلك لأن الراكب للراكب مزية على الماشي فعوض الماشي بأن يبدأه الراكب بالسلام احتياطا على الراكب من الزهو. The same also to avoid this excessive pride. The one who's riding, he's the one who greets the one who's walking. Because this is, subhanAllah, the spirit of humbleness. If he's riding and the one who's walking will be greeting them, he feel like he's better than him. You know, I have a mount and you do not have. No, you have to switch it. The one who's riding, he's the one who greet the one who's like walking. And that's, subhanAllah, to bring to, and all of it, you see it, are aspects to help strengthen the brotherhood, strengthen the unity. Because in this condition, as you see, someone who will be riding, you know, to greet the one who's walking, it's bring them more together. That working person, he'll appreciate it, and he will like this person. He said, this is a true brother. The other one, he feel like he did something that worth, you know, shukr to Allah, because Allah helped him to be humble. You know. So imagine someone driving a brand new car, and a brother he's walking, you know. And he will look at him, he waiting for the brother walking to greet him. Hey, said he will say. But if the one with the new car will break down, pull out the door and said, Assalamu alaikum, how are you, brother? That brother, he feel like, you know, he has better than that car. He feel good, right? He will not gonna envy or anything, so he's gonna be feel good. So this is, subhanAllah, one of the wisdoms in this, you know, in the guidance of the hadith that teaching us the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وأما إذا تلاقى راكبان أو ماشيان, if like two people are riding or people are walking, so the one, always we go back to young and old, and the one who has fadl, because someone, for example, he see his teacher in the street, he start with an older person, he will greet them first. Or if they are equal, then the first who start first, he's the one who has the better reward. So it becomes like racing for the good. Who start first will be better. In hadith of Jabir بسند صحيح قال الماشيان إذا اجتمعا فأيهما بدأ بالسلام فهو أفضل. The two people walking, the one who start with the greeting, he will be the best among them. أفضل, better. You see, so here it becomes racing for the good. I want to to greet my brother first. Why? Because I'm looking, the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to honor myself and honor my brother. قال ومن حديث أبي أمامة مرفوعا إن أولى الناس بالله من بدأ بالسلام. وقال حسن وأخرج الطبراني في حديث قلنا يا رسول الله إنا نلتقي فأينا يبدأ بالسلام قال أطوعكم لله تعالى. Now, in this hadith, put it in more perspective. إن أولى الناس بالله, the one who deserves to be treated, better from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's the one who starts with the salam. So someone will have advanced in being more blessed by Allah if he start or she start first with the greeting. And the other hadith explained it. He said, the more obedient among you, he said, if we meet each other, how we start the salam, whom should start first? He said, the one who's the most obedient or the more obedient among you. Which here the Prophet ﷺ made the greeting, the first who greets first, he's more obedient to Allah. So a sign of obedience to Allah, or a better obedience to Allah than other, is to greet first. So it becomes like here racing for the good. وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ, becomes like seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward and a sign for someone to be blessed, to be more obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khairan. If you have any question, we'll stop here بإذن الله تعالى.